There is a temptation, especially on day one of a new job, to treat the company knowledge base like a textbook. You sit down, try to read every single page, and almost immediately find yourself buried under an avalanche of policies and architecture rules. Software development is complex enough. Between navigating client needs and wrangling new APIs, the real danger is building the wrong feature or spinning your wheels when you're stuck. Both are a massive waste of time. We solve this by applying the right knowledge at the right time. The knowledge base is a navigational tool, used specifically when the work requires it. To see how this works in practice, let's follow a developer through a single project lifecycle to see exactly when the documentation intervenes. This just-in-time approach allows a developer to bypass the upfront reading marathon, using specific modules to remove roadblocks and keep implementation moving. When a new requirement brief arrives, the first move isn't opening the code editor. It's consulting the knowledge base to anchor the project in the right context. This section forces the developer to ask specific questions before coding. They pinpoint the actual business value and define the smallest useful version. During planning, the developer uses this module to map dependencies and log risks, creating a documented direction for execution. Templates like the risk analysis or implementation plan provide a structure for a developer's thinking. They are designed to surface hidden failure points long before they become blockers in the sprint. Relying on these specific prompts during the requirements phase guarantees the developer is solving the actual problem, preventing costly pivots later in the build. Once the plan is set, the developer begins active coding. At this stage, the priority shifts strictly to the user's experience. The knowledge base pushes the developer to address interface rough edges, like when data is missing or a process fails. On the back end, the documentation enforces strict standards, requiring predictable API design, clear separation of concerns, and rigorous data modeling. Applying these standards ensures the software remains functional for the current user and maintainable for the next developer who joins the project. To accelerate the build, the developer brings in an AI coding assistant. But here, the core rule is firm. Agents are tools, not project owners. The developer uses the knowledge base as direct context for the AI. By feeding in our specific testing expectations and definitions of done, the developer ensures the agent has the necessary constraints to generate useful code. After the code is generated, the developer consults this review checklist. They must interrogate the agent's output, checking for unnecessary complexity or changes that were outside the original scope of the task. This process creates a necessary guardrail. It prevents fast AI generation from turning into a pile of architectural debt that someone else will have to fix later. Before the code is considered finished, the developer uses these checklists for self-verification. It's a final sweep to catch common misses, like missing error states or unreviewed agent output. If the implementation becomes too complex or there are multiple possible approaches, the guide provides explicit triggers for escalation. The developer is mandated to stop and ask a peer for help. Adhering to these verification and collaboration protocols ensures that silent bugs and uncertainty are resolved internally before the feature ever reaches the client. The feature is successfully released. By deploying the right knowledge at each stage of the journey, the developer controlled the AI output and eliminated delays. The knowledge base is a living system. It depends on continuous input from the developers using it to remain an effective guide for the next project. Every developer is expected to contribute back. This means adding real-world examples, suggesting better AI prompts, or documenting lessons learned from a difficult deployment. To keep the system from rotting, we follow the what not to do rules. We do not treat documentation as bureaucracy, and we never use checklists mechanically without thinking. The goal is not to memorize every document. The goal is to use the right guidance at the exact moment you need it, becoming a better builder with every project you finish.